Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Real Heroes Show. Corey, Nick, and Kevin here. And in today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Mortal Kombat, the 2021 film that just came out both in theaters and on HBO Max, which I think is the way that the three of us enjoyed it, because it's a whole lot more fun to sit at home in your PJs and watch movies than it is to drive to a movie theater. Gents, how are you today? Doing well? Are you feeling sprightly and combat-y, or what's going on?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Super amped.
And it's
not the caffeine speaking either. Yeah,
cutting people's heads off and whatnot,
ripping hearts out.
That's just the Zoa talking. I know you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dwayne.
Drink your Zoe and let's fucking
go. Now there's something about getting the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier and Mortal Kombat in the same day, to get you kind of jacked out of your mind. So it's fantastic.
So let's dive right in. I mean, this was everything I wanted it to be and more. So I'll let you guys talk about it in detail. I'm just this was fucking awesome. God, who wants to start? Go ahead. Somebody.
I'll start.
Okay.
I'll start. I know. Prior to this, we talked about this a shit ton. So to hopefully recapture that magic, there's so much of this movie that they took from the video games and the lore. Like there's Easter eggs all over the fucking place, which is fantastic. If people aren't aware of some of the things that exist, in Mortal Kombat and just think it's a video game, that's totally fine. There is a lot of lore that goes along with this. It's not just it's a very violent video game and that's it. No, they've expanded on that since, for the last, 20 plus years.
At least.
So it's great to, especially the last couple of games that have come out that have, very, very in detailed, transitions from the game to the cinematics and just the story that goes along with the characters and the different worlds. So to really touch upon that in the movie was great to see. The fatalities were great. The gore was great. I think the characters that they decided to go with were great and were well done. Obviously having the great characters like Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero were fantastic. To get that storyline from the Ling Kuei and the Shiryu Ryu, I love the fact that they established that in the lore in the movie, because that, if this does end up having to be a saga, they can definitely continue on with that. Again, especially because Cole is part of Hasashi's lineage. That's obviously going to continue, and if for those who know the MK lore, we know that there is more than one iteration of Sub-Zero, so this isn't the last we'll see of them, but fucking Kano.
Yeah, dude, Kano is so good.
Kano kind of stole the spotlight. And I think every time he was on screen, his character and the actor just did such a great job. With the one-liners, the mannerisms.
I feel like every scene that had Kano in it, the director had to be like, okay, everybody here, super serious, except for you.
Yeah.
You make all the wild, stupid jokes and curse as much as you want to.
Yeah.
And we'll keep it in the movie.
Yeah. It was like a much, much, much rougher Ryan Reynolds being in the room.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. You're at a funeral, he's cracking jokes, whatever. So, but it was fantastic, man. I feel like almost the whole Scorpion and Sub-Zero thing is almost like Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow kind of thing,
Yeah.
These two badass guys always masked up, battling over the centuries, maybe not centuries for those guys, but it was fantastic. I mean, do not go into this movie, if you haven't seen it yet, don't go into this movie expecting a fine film. It's probably not going to win any Oscars.
It's not Nomad.
It is not. But, and that's kind of one of the same things I said about Kong versus Godzilla. It is just fun. It's just fun. And they did such a great job. I mean, when you compare it to the last movie that they did, or I guess the first Mortal Kombat movie that they did, some really great visuals in that. You know, you can't take away from
For its time, yeah.
You know, Scorpion in the forest and all that kind of shit. It was beautiful. But it was too abrupt of like, this is what's happening, drop it in a tournament, go, you know.
Right.
And with this one, it's like you can tell they're building a world because we didn't even see a tournament.
Yeah, no tournament took place.
Yeah, there was no tournament in this film, which was surprising to me. But I did like how you know, Raiden ended up saying, all right, you two over here, you two over here, you four over there, you know, fight it out and all that kind of stuff. It was so great to see, you know, really well done iterations of some of these characters, like Raiden, being who he was supposed to be in the first place. And then some of these other characters that came along later, like Cabal, who was fantastic in this. You know, it gave us, I think, at least, everything that I wanted out of a Mortal Kombat movie without seeming cheesy. Like it, I mean, was it? Well, maybe. Yeah, but
it's Mortal Kombat though. That's the whole idea.
Exactly.
Right.
But for what it was, like for a movie based off of a fighting game, it was stellar. I thought it was fantastic. Definitely a far cry from Street Fighter the movie.
Oh God.
is Van Damme in that?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, he is. Oh man.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best like game to movie transition we've probably had. I can't think of anything off the top of my mind right now, but you know,
Rampage was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was a very loose translation of that video game. So
right, yeah. I mean, if we're talking just straight, especially from like a fighter game standpoint, I mean, you know, there's really not much to it, and I mean, again, for the sake of all the things that we got to see, like the fatalities, right? I mean, when Kung Lao is riding Natara, and then he has the hat on the floor, and it turns into a saw blade and just literally saws her in half. And we see it, and then he just gets the hat back, and he's like, flawless victory. And I'm like, oh shit. I mean, obviously we said before, he did get hit a couple times, so not maybe some chip damage off the health bar, but you know, obviously leading to his maybe temporary demise when Shang Tsung, you know, was like, your soul is mine. And
Which was like, a nice little callback to the 95.
Right. You know, and that happens in the lore in the video games for those who might be unaware. So again, like they're really pulling shit from the games, which is great to see. So it's not like, oh, we're going to take this fighting game and do whatever the fuck we want with it and go off in a different direction. So fans are like, the hell are you doing? You know, they're not super on point with everything, but I mean, they damn near included a lot to make fans like myself, and I'm sure plenty of other people out there, to be to appreciate what they've done. You know?
Yeah. No, there was a lot of care given to the lore and the story that was set in the games beforehand, which was good.
Yeah. And the fatalities were gruesome. Yeah. But they didn't overdo it. I mean, there were three? I agree. 3 or 4 times where it's like, ooh, but the rest of the time it was like interesting storyline there. You know, there's some fighting, there's some cool fighting, but it wasn't just, you know, every 5 seconds another, you know, head popping off or something like that. So it was, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I think the runtime helped a lot. Yeah, because like by the time it hits the credits, it's like a cool hour and 42 minutes or something. It's not a long movie, which I don't think that a video game adaptation needs to be 2.5 hours to be successful.
It does not.
It's the same thing we talked about with Godzilla vs. Kong. That movie is short, sweet. It does exactly what it says it's going to do, and then it goes home, which is perfectly fine. I also think they did a very good job resisting the temptation. Obviously, 20 years worth of video games, they have a toy box full of characters they could have used. You could have seen Rain and Noob Saibot and Smoke and Cyrax and Shao Kahn and Kotal Kahn and Devora, and the list just goes on and on and on and on and on of characters that actually weren't in this movie. So they stayed focused. They held it to what was it, like maybe 10 characters
Yeah.
at its core, really, you know,
like 5 from each side, whatever, right?
And by doing that, every character got to have a little bit of a backstory. They all got to have a little bit of a moment when it came to fighting or whatever, and that was cool, and it served those characters well, because if you start adding 10 or 15 more characters, everybody gets lost in the shuffle. You don't connect or attach to anybody, and then it becomes the Mortal Kombat thing where the only characters people actually care about are Scorpion and Sub-Zero because they look cool. Right. So I thought all that was cool. Fight sequences were great. The hand-to-hand combat choreography was excellent.
It was great.
The intro was phenomenal.
It was fantastic.
I thought that was so good. The set design and the lighting and everything was just terrific.
The mood was fantastic.
It was excellent. I was also very happy that the audio mix wasn't all fucked up like Godzilla vs. Kong was.
This one was
HBO Max
good.
Stuff scares me a little bit with that. I did not have to crank the volume up super high to hear people talk, which was good. So I mean, overall, obviously, like Kevin said, this is an Oscar bait. We're not looking for any awards with this movie, but ton of fun. Loved like every minute of it. It was I call movies popcorn movies a lot, but for this one, I actually like made a bowl of popcorn before watching it because I knew that I wanted to just like do this and just like have a shit-eating grin on my face for it. So all right, let's wrap it up. Out of 10, Kevin, what are you giving this one?
I'm gonna give it a solid 8.
Cool. Nick?
Yeah.
I was gonna say 8.5. It's not perfect. There's a lot that they probably could have done with it, but again, I think at that point you risk dragging it on and ruining maybe the overall feel and possibly rating to it. But because of the characters, the pace, the story, the Easter eggs, the lore, I'm going to go with 8.5.
Sweet. I think I'll give it a solid 8 as well. I fully intend on watching it at least one more time before its run on HBO Max ends. So I would say that this video was a flawless victory, which means that it's now time to wrap it up and go home. So we'd love to hear from you guys. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought. Did it meet up to the hype? Was it as good as the video games? Was it as good as the 1995 movie? Was it as bad as the 1998 movie? Who knows? Let us know in the comments below. Like the video. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications so that way you never miss another video from us. And for Nick and Kevin, I'm Corey, and we'll see you guys in the next video.